What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 ASMR video. For this week's video, we are going to continue the vault tour / vault cleaning series with the second installment of that saga. To try and avoid the, to try to keep the video from being, 45 minutes to an hour long, we're going to pretty much just jump on in to the vault and take a look at what we've got. As usual, thank you to everybody who has supported the videos and the channel, and to all the new subscribers that we have that have joined us here in the last week. So, let's jump into the vault. Alright, so this was page 1. And I want to say that we got through most of page 1 last time. I think we stopped like somewhere down here. So we will just pick up. We'll start with ignition code. I think we stopped on Chroma Rush. I don't remember exactly where we left off, but yeah, okay. So the ignition code, really nice grenade launcher. This one has blinding nades with slide shot and one for all. The thing with this particular roll is that with slide shot it reloads the magazine. So what this allows you to do is essentially you can just spam your grenades if you keep sliding, and it allows you to shoot them very quickly. And then one for all is, a damage bonus, but for this particular, for like a grenade launcher with blinding nades, you're not really using it to deal damage. You're mostly using it for crowd control. So you're like in a Grandmaster or like a raid, something like that. You are just using the blinding nades to keep the enemies controlled for the most part. Overall, really cool looking gun. It's very fun and satisfying to use. This came out in Season of the Splicer, which was quite a few seasons ago now. Next up, we have a TIMELOST, PRAEDYTH'S Revenge. This one has Kill Clip, Firefly, No Distractions, or Feeding Frenzy. This is a returning weapon from Destiny 1. It is obtained in the Crucible by doing all of the challenges on Master Mode. It is part of getting the title for Fatebreaker in the Vault of Glass. Mostly I just kept this because it's kind of a trophy weapon. Having done the challenges, it's a pretty decent PvP role. Truthfully, it's got naturally high handling. It does have kill clip, so you can do a little bit of extra damage to the body. But with snipers, you're mostly going for headshots, and with it being a rapid fire frame, it's not able to, at least I don't think it's able to one-shot to the body with kill clip up. But it does have Firefly, No Distractions, pretty decent sniper perk. Then you've got, arrowhead or extended barrel. And I put on arrowhead just for the extra handling for the most part, which puts it at 83 with no handling mods, which is very high. All right, that brings us officially onto page 2. I'm going to spend less time on the exotics than last time. And probably just less time on the weapons overall, just to hopefully try to move through the vault a little bit quicker. But this is the Cryosthesia 77K. This is a sidearm that is of the stasis element. This was released in Season of the Splicer. Pretty much the way that this works is when you get a kill with the gun, you can press your reload button, and what it'll do is it'll fire a charged shot that will freeze anybody, and that's Crucible, PvE, anything like that. So it pretty much renders it freezes them in place, right? So who doesn't love that? So that's a really neat thing there. Here we have AGER'S SCEPTER. Again, this is a exotic trace rifle. This is also a stasis weapon. It allows you to freeze things. Kills with the gun will freeze enemies that are around it. And it has an alternate mode to where you can basically, if you have a fully charged super, you can use it to make, you can basically drain your super to make it shoot like a super powerful charged beam, which is pretty cool. We have the VULPECULA. This is a 180 RPM hand cannon from Season of the Lost or Season of the Risen. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Season of the Lost, the one right before Witch Queen came out. But this bad boy has explosive payload and encore, with accurized rounds for a bit more range, fluted barrel for some stability and a lot of handling. And then we also have a handling masterwork. So 180s recently got a buff, mostly in Crucible. But I kept this roll just because, one, I think the gun looks really cool. And number two, it does have explosive payload, which explosive payload has no damage fall off. So it will do the same amount of damage whether you're actually within the weapon's effective kill range or well outside of it. And then Encore is a fun little perk, which if you get precision kills, you get a range bonus. If you get non-precision kills, it removes any range bonus you have, but grants extra, basically aim assist and stability when all of the range stacks have been removed. So pretty versatile weapon. I put, a handful of kills on it, just trying it out after the, the update went out that kind of buffed them a little bit. Still just not really a fan of 180s in general. Just not a huge fan of those. Let's see here. The Peace Bond. Nothing really too crazy here. It's a stasis sidearm from Iron Banner. It's got snapshot and rangefinder, which is, pretty nice combo to have on a sidearm. Other than that, nothing too remarkable here. I am going to keep this one because if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the only Peace Bond that I have. And it's got a pretty decent roll on it, so we're going to hang on to that. We have a Servant Leader. This is a Gambit Scout Rifle. It's a 260 RPM, so it's one of the faster firing ones. This one has Frenzy and Outlaw. So again, I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with Frenzy. Basically, you're in combat. Well, basically while you're shooting a gun, you're in combat, you eventually get some increased damage, handling, and reload speed. And then, of course, you've got Outlaw, so if you get a precision kill, you get a really, really fast reload. Overall, really nice roll here. I love the look of this gun. I think this is probably one of my favorite weapon models in the game. For scout rifles, it just looks like, I mean, look at that. Like, that just looks like that looks awesome, right? Like what? This one here, this is the Last Breath auto rifle. So this guy has rangefinder, slide shot, high cals with hammer forged or small bore, and then a stability masterwork. It is a 600 RPM auto rifle. Unfortunately, auto rifles just are not in that good of a place right now, and they have not been for a while. Rangefinder's also getting a nerf here coming up in probably the patch for like the mid-season thing, like for when the Halloween event comes out. But overall, this is a really nice roll on this. The high cals will give it some extra flinch when you're shooting somebody. In the Crucible, hammer forge, more range, slide shot, reload, and more range. Rangefinder, more range, right? And then stability masterwork, which is, second to range. Stability is probably the most important perk on an auto rifle. So that's why I've kept this one around. Just a decent PvP roll that I'd love to try out once the patch comes around and gives auto rifles a little bit more love. So. Legal Action 2. This, again, standard high impact pulse rifle. You can 2-burst with it if you hit all of your headshots. This one has rampage moving target, some handling, and a tactical mag for more bullets in the magazine. Again, I just kept this one because it's a good roll for PvP for the pulse rifle. Nothing really too remarkable about it. It feels really good to use. I love the sound that it makes, and it is a Hake foundry weapon. So of course it has that really sort of kind of punchy sound to it when you shoot it. And it has a really nice sight, like a really nice diamond-shaped crosshair, which I like a lot. And again, it's just a really cool-looking weapon. Moving on to the Scavelock, this is a year one Destiny 2 gun that was eventually brought back. Again, just a solid roll on this guy. We've got range for the masterwork, small bore for range and stability, tunnel vision, which gives target acquisition and better ADS speed after a kill, and then multi-kill clip, which is a damage perk. Now this is something that would be decent in PvE, also pretty good in PvP. If you get multi-kill clip going on this thing, it's going to absolutely shred. 71 range on a 600 RPM auto rifle with a damage perk. This thing can absolutely melt. But again, auto rifles are not in the best place in PvP right now. Hopefully the update will kind of change that. But yeah, again, really cool looking gun. Great perk combination, really clean sight. It's just a nice little iron, like red dot. But yeah, love the way this one looks too. Here we have an Iasuna, and this is another Destiny 1 returning weapon. This was released with the 30th anniversary pack that came with the Dares of Eternity update and like the whole 30th anniversary event. Mostly just a PvP roll here. We've got moving target and rapid hit with ricochets and hit mark or crossfire. Again, nothing too remarkable here, just a decent perk combination on these. And this is probably the best roll on this I've gotten. And I believe, well prior to thinking about doing this video, I got rid of the other rolls that I had. But this is overall a pretty solid roll for the Ice Luna. Have yet to really use it, but that's just a good overall roll. I do think that, yeah, I don't have any other rolls of it, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm inclined to delete this one again, just because I don't have another roll of it. I'm gonna keep it just on the off chance, I need to use a stasis hand cannon and crucible or something. Here, another breach load grenade launcher. This is the Pardon Our Dust, also from the 30th anniversary event. This one's got auto loading, demo, and blinding nades. Again, nothing, particularly notable about this one. It's just a good PvE roll. You can, reload with Demolitionist. You can reload it with auto loading holster while it's stowed. And it's got blinding nades. So again, higher level content, where crowd control is a bigger thing. Blinding nades are very useful. Now, that being said, we do have a lot of different options for crowd control now, particularly like with stasis. And we just have some really strong abilities just baked into the subclasses now with the 3.0 revisions to those subclasses. But again, nice to have one of these in the back pocket. In case you need to break it out and have some blinding grenades, And blinding grenades are very strong for any content really. Now, they're not really necessary for like regular, at light content, but higher level things where enemies are a bit chunkier and they may not just outright die from an impact from a grenade launcher. Those blinding nades will keep them, basically not really immobilized, but they won't be able to fight back while they're blinded. So that gives you time to either reposition, gives you time to just take out a big group of enemies that are blinded. A lot of potential. Again, the crowd control is the key thing about the blinding nades. Wastelander, not much to say here. This is a fan favorite shotgun ever since it came out. It is craftable now. I unfortunately have not gotten all of the red borders I need to craft one. I think you need, I think I'm at 3 out of 5 of the red borders. But overall, this is a really nice roll. Opening shot, perpetual motion, accurized, small bore, range masterwork. This is probably one of the most consistent feeling lightweight shotties in the game. And there's an argument to be made that it is the best lightweight shotgun in the game. Granted that you can basically craft a perfect one, right? Really cool looking gun, satisfying to use. But yeah, not much to say about that one. That hasn't already been said. We've got Forerunner, which is a really fun to use weapon. A lot of people using it in trials these days. It's basically a sidearm, but like a very powerful sidearm. It's essentially what it is. It's made to basically be the pistol from the game Halo, the original Halo. So it shares a similar look. Forerunner, it's very common, like Halo motif. And yeah, it's got a scope on it. You zoom in, really big, generous crosshair. You can do some pretty crazy pretty crazy stuff with this. I'll be running a card this weekend, sometime later today. It is Sunday as of the time of me filming this video, and I think I'm going to be using this with a bow that I crafted called Under Your Skin from the Cabal season of the Chosen, I think it was. But anyway, yeah, really cool gun. This is an ornament, so it's not, what it looks like by default. It actually kind of looks like this, which is still really cool, but that is a very clean looking ornament. So yeah, I'll be breaking this out this afternoon. OSTEO STRIGA, it's an SMG that fires little tracking projectiles, so they kind of like float out of the gun, if that is like a good way to describe it. But it's an SMG, again, that shoots little tracking pellets, basically, little tracking like thorn things. And once an enemy, if an enemy dies to them, it blows up and leaves and makes like a pool of like poison that like spreads to other enemies. So it's a really good gun for ad clear. And the catalyst makes it to where if an enemy dies to the poison that is generated when something, dies from the gun, it overflows the magazine. So you can have like 99 rounds or more in this. And it's crazy good for ad clear. Really good for ad clear. Let's see. Nothing really. This is empirical evidence. This is just in here because I crafted it. I'm not much of a sidearm guy. This is just like the default roll that you can put on here when you craft it. So not really a whole lot going on there. This gun, however, peace of mind. This is a very, very nice pulse rifle that you can craft with a very good roll of enhanced moving target and enhanced perpetual motion. Very good. This is a very popular gun. You'll see a lot in the Crucible. Pulse rifles are getting some adjustments coming down the pipeline here. Again, probably when the Festival of the Lost event comes out. And it's going to change a few things about them. I think damage modifiers, some other things are changing. So definitely keep your eye on the pulse rifle group. Now, they are very dominant right now. That's why that patch is coming through to kind of make some adjustments to, how they perform. But keep an eye particularly on the adaptive frames. So not so much the rapid fires, but I think the adaptive frames, and I did on this particular page, adaptive frames are getting a little bit of a buff, I think. Again, I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me on that. But yeah. I guess while we're looking at it, this is a Smite of Moraine, a swashbuckler moving target. I am actually going to probably going to get rid of this one because I was fortunate enough to get the Master Mode challenge done of the Sisters encounter in King's Fall, and I was able to get a Smite of Moraine with Firefly Demo and Focus Fury. This is a pulse rifle this is more of a PvE rule. I've already got pulse rifles that if I'm going to use a pulse rifle in Crucible, I'm not necessarily going to use an adaptive frame. But with that said, I think I am going to go ahead and delete this one here because I don't really need that anymore. So that one's gone. Got some materials back. Let's look at the time here. Okay, we're pushing up on about half an hour. We made a little bit of progress here. We made it through a couple of columns. So, but yeah, this is gonna take a while. I may end up just having to do like a really long video to kind of get through all of these. But again, it'll be a series. It'll be just a nice little like every other week kind of thing. We'll just jump in here and, you know, goof around in the vault. Have me get distracted talking about weapons and perks and other stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this week's video, everybody. I do appreciate once again everybody who has subscribed to the channel, all the really nice comments everybody leaves, just, you know, just giving support. There was a comment somebody was asking. I about fell over laughing when I read it, but there was a comment on the last video that asked if I could say something, I guess, for them in my voice. Let me see if I can find it so I can give them a proper shout out here. So bear with me. I'm gonna pull up the old YouTube Studio app. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So, so funny. So shout outs to Beats by Falco. At your request, I would like to say, I'm proud of you, son. I am proud of you. So that's for you, Beats by Falco. I really appreciate that comment. That was probably one of the funniest things. That was hilarious, man. So I appreciate the good laugh there. But yeah. So that again, that's gonna do it for this week, everybody. I hope you all have a good week, and we will see you guys next time.